Good afternoon, children. Are you all ready for the class? Yeah, today we learn a story from your supplementary textbook, that is Princess September. Princess September. I don't know whether I have listened to the story. I have already explained the story. The story is the king and queen of Siam. They had many children. Okay, and they did not know. They were confused with giving names for their children. So, in order to avoid the confusion, they thought of giving the names according to the months. Okay, of course, in their language. That is January, February, March. It is like that. So, the last one's name was September. Princess September. So, how many children they had? 9 children. Okay, so they gave the names. Okay, afterwards, it is the king. He is a very different person. Usually, when we celebrate birthdays or some celebration, those who celebrate will get the gifts, isn't it? Here, in this, he is something different. This king, what he did is, when he celebrated, he liked to give gifts to others. So, one of his birthday, he gave 1 year. He called his children, they are the princes from January to September, and he gave a green parrot in a golden cage. Okay, that was his golden cage. He gave a green parrot each of them. So they were very happy and they were trying to teach, making the parrot to talk and things like that. So one day what happened, and they taught some of the parrots, they were telling long live king or God save the king or petit poli, like that, some short sentences they taught in different languages, and the parrot was able to give answer. Okay. Then what happened is, one fine morning, Princess September went to wish his parrot, and when she went, the parrot is dead. The parrot is dead in the cage, and the child was crying so much. Nobody could comfort her, and her maidens, that is the servants there, tried to comfort, and they could not comfort her. Then they went and told to the queen, the mother, and she got angry with her, and she said, "What foolishness, crying for a small parrot?" And she told her, put her to bed. That is, she went to sleep. She made her to sleep. And what happened is, she was crying because those princes, the other maids, they had to go for some party. So immediately they put her to sleep. And without food, that is the supper, she did not eat. And she was crying. She was alone, crying. Then suddenly she saw another small bird is hopping into her room. Small bird is hopping into her room, and she got up and she wiped her face, and that bird was asking whether, can you accept me as you are in the place of your parrot, because her parrot is dead now. So she was happy, and she said, and then that bird came little more near to her, and the bird sang a beautiful song and made that princess to sleep. All night she slept, she forgot everything, and she was feeling hungry, but she forgot everything. By beautiful song, she listened and she slept. Who sang? That bird sang. Very good. Then next day morning she got up, fresh up, and she saw the bird is still sitting there. And she said, "Good morning." And she was very happy and went on. And this bird was, though she said, "I am not so beautiful as the parrot, but I have got a sweet voice, nice singing she can." And she accepted, and like that. And she wanted to show his friend, to this bird, all her other sisters, no? Because her sisters are there. Other princess. So she went around and showing, and finally he showed her father, and everybody was happy. But the sisters felt a lot of jealous about her, because their parrot is not able to sing. They can only say 2 words, that is, save the king and pretty Polly. And her bird, this small tiny bird, is able to sing so melodious song. beautiful singing, and everybody was happy. The king was happy, the queen was happy, and she was also jumping, dancing with this beautiful bird. And her sisters were feeling jealous because their bird is not able to fly. They are always in the cage. And she asked, see, we are very sorry, your parrot is dead now, but then we are so sad about that, and we will take our pocket money and we will buy one parrot for you, so that this bird can go out. Instead of that, you can have your parrot. Then she said, no, I am happy with this bird. And she wanted to raise it up and things like that. So this is the story goes like that. So as we end of the lesson, I'll just read it and you listen, and you also read afterwards. Is it clear for you? The lesson is the supplementary book, page number 34, the lesson 5, Princess September. Okay, so at least something you understood the story. Then the rest of the story we will explain you as while we read. Clear? Princess September, like each one of the other numerous sisters, receives a gift of parrot in the golden cage on her father's birthday. The parrot dies, but by chance a singing bird comes in its place. The princess shows off her pet to the sisters, who advise her to put it in a cage. So her sisters were feeling jealous. They asked her to put her bird in a cage. Don't leave it off and don't give them. So that is true. This is the content of the first part of the lesson that you are going to read. So this is 3 sentences gives the content of the lesson. As we read, let's understand. The king and queen of Siam had many daughters, and the queen said that it confused her to have to remember so many names of her children. She was finding difficult. Okay. One day, the king decided to call them January, February, March. Though, of course, in Siamese, that is in their own language, they gave the names. Okay. Till he came to the youngest, whom he called September. So the last one's name. How many children? September is which month? 9th month. Okay. So they have 9 children. So September is the last one. The king Siam had a peculiar habit. I told you. Peculiar habit means a different character than. So each one have their own character. So this particular king is a peculiar person. A different person from the others. Why? Because usually receives gift, but he gives gifts, not receiving. Okay, that is his peculiarity, his differences. Instead of receiving gifts on his birthday, he gave them gifts. Okay, 1 year of his birthday, not having anything else handy, he gave each of his daughters a green parrot in a golden cage. The princes were very proud of their parrot, and they spent an hour every day to teach them to talk. So what was they doing? The princes were doing, they spent their time 1 hour every day to make the parrot to talk. Presently, all the parrots could say, God save the king. And some of them could say, pretty Polly. So what did they learn? They taught them, God save the king. And some of them were telling, pretty Polly, in no less than 7 Oriental languages. So they spoke. The Bharat were able to speak in 7 languages, God save the king and pretty Polly. So some of them were able to see like that. They taught them. Now, but one day, the Princess September went to say good morning to her parrot. She found it lying dead at the bottom of the golden cage. What happened to her? September's princess, she went to say good morning one fine day, and she found her parrot is dead and lying under the bottom of the cage. She burst into floods of tears. She cried bitterly. And what happened? And nothing that her maids of honor could say, not comfort her. So they were the maids, her servants were there. They were trying to comfort her, but they could not comfort. She was crying so much loudly. But she cried so much that the maids of honor, not knowing what to do, the maids did not know what to do with her. So told the queen, and the queen said it was tough and nonsense, and the child had better to go to bed without any supper. So the queen said, it is very stuff, it is nonsense, she's crying for a dead parrot, isn't it? So don't give her food, send her to bed. So she went. Okay. Then the maids of honor wanted to go to a party, so they put Princess September to bed as quickly as they could and left her by herself. So what did they immediately put the girl to made her to sleep, and they left. They wanted to go for a party, so they immediately did it. Okay. While she was in her bed, crying still, even though she felt rather hungry, she was lying down there, she was feeling hungry. Then she saw a little bird hop into her room. So a little bird was hopping, just jumping and coming into her room. She wiped her tears and sat up. So immediately she got up, wiped her face and tears, and she sat up. She sat on her cot. Then the little bird began to sing, and he sang a beautiful song all about the lake in the king's garden and the willows trees, and looked at themselves in the still water and the golden fish that glided in and out of the branches, but were reflected in it. So that bird is composed a song looking at the surrounding of the garden, king's garden. So she composed beautifully, she sang. Okay. And when he had finished, the princess was not crying anymore. So the only princess was listening to the song. She did not cry anymore. And she quite forgot that she had no supper. She forgot even to eat supper. She forgot because she was immersed in the listening of this music. That was the very nice song, she said. So she said, it is a very beautiful song that you sang. The little bird gave her a bow. So the little girl, what did it? Then the girl said, you have sang well. Thank you, that with a bow. No, bird did a bow. But can you have me in a place of your parrot? So the bird asked her, can you have me in the place of your parrot? Why? Because her parrot is dead. So can you take me instead of the parrot? Said the little bird. It's true that I am not so pretty to look at, but on the other hand, I have a much better voice. So the bird said, I am not so looking so beautiful as the parrot, but I have got a good voice. I can sing beautifully. Parrot cannot sing, is it not? So I can sing, but I am not beautiful as the parrot. That is what who said? The bird said. Princess September clapped her hands with delight, and then the little bird hopped into the end of her bed and sang to her to sleep. So what happened? The bird was very happy. The princess was happy, and again she went. The bird hopped into her bed, one side sat, and sang a beautiful song and made the girl to sleep. Little princess slept by listening to the song. When she awoke next day, the little bird was still there, and as she opened her eyes, he said, "Good morning." So when next day morning, the bird sat there, made her to sleep well, and morning she opened her eyes, she saw the bird sitting there, and the bird said, "Good morning." When she opened her eyes, he said, "Good morning." The maids of honor brought her the breakfast, and he ate rice out of her hand, and he had his bath in her saucer. So the morning he said good morning, and her maids, they bought breakfast for her, and he made this bird to eat and gave him a beautiful bath and things like that. He began to sing again so beautifully that the maids of honor were quite surprised. So after her bath, after eating, had bath, and he started to sing again, beautiful singing. And what happened is, these maids were surprised to see, oh, why this bird is so different. We have not found such a bird any time. So they were surprised, for they had never heard anything like that. Princess September was very proud and happy. So she was very happy because she lost a parrot, but she got a beautiful singing bird. She was very proud and everybody was surprised. Now, I want to show you to my 8 sisters. So the Princess 9 September said, I want to show you to my other sisters. Other sisters, said the princess. She stretched out the first finger of her right hand so that it served as a perk, and the little bird flew down and sat on it. So she showed her finger like that. Now you can see the picture, and the small bird came and sat on her finger like that. Then followed her the maid of honor with the servants, and she went through the palaces and called each one of her other princesses, her sisters. No? She was just holding the bird, and the maid, she and the bird went to her other sisters and wanted to show them. No? And for each of them, the little bird sang a different song. What did the bird do? The bird sang different songs for each of her sisters. But the parrot could only say, God save the king and Pretty Polly. At last, afterwards, she showed the little bird to the king and the queen. Afterwards, she also went and showed her bird to the king and the queen. They were surprised and delighted. Who? The father and mother, the queen and the king. They were surprised and delighted, very happy. I knew I was right to send you to bed without any supper. Then the mother is telling, queen is telling, that's why I send you without food to the bed. Because of me, said the queen. That's why, because I know that you are going to get bird. That's why I send you to bed without supper. This bird sings so much, so better than the parrot, said the king. And the king was telling, the bird is so beautiful, it is better than the parrot. I should have thought of you quite tired of hearing people say, God save the king, said the queen. I can't think why these girls wanted to teach their parrot to say it too. So the queen is telling, I am sure that now by this time you are tired of hearing what? God save the king, God save the king. But now this bird is so beautiful, isn't it? So the king is telling to the king. Then I don't know why the children are talking, making them to talk only. So God save the king, God save the king. But then she was telling, I can't think why these girls are doing like that. Sentiments is admirable. The king is telling. The king is telling, the sentiments is admirable, said the king. And I never mind how often I hear it. So he said, no problem, I can hear it, but I do get tired of hearing these parrots say, Pretty Polly, Pretty Polly. For that I am tired. But to say, God save the king, no problem, it is a sentiments. So sentiments means is a good luck, that is there now. So, but the Pretty Polly, I am not happy. That is what the king is telling. Then they say it is 7 different languages. 7 different languages these parrots are able to say Pretty Polly or things like that, said the princess. I dare say this do, said the king. But it reminds me too much of my counselors. Okay, she says that I dare say they do, but birds are able to say. But I do also think that it reminds me too much that my counselors, they say the same thing in 7 different ways, and it never means anything in any way they say it. And he is telling, not only that, but at least they are parrots, is it not? Parrots, but he is telling his own the counselors means the court counselors or the ministers in the court, they are also saying so different, the same thing in different ways, but they don't mean what they are telling. Simply they say something. This is what the king is telling. The princes were vexed at these. Other princes were vexed, no? And the parrots looked very glum and indeed. So the parrots was glummy. Means very. The parrots looked very glum indeed. They were just looking not that happy like that, no? But the Princess September ran through all the rooms of the palace singing like a lark, while the little bird flew round around her singing like a nightingale. Nightingale is a koila, no? Quail. Quail in Malayalam is a quail. So beautifully singing, you know. She was happy, the September was happy, bird was happy, flying, jumping, oh happily, everything was very, very happy. Things went on like this for several days, and then the 8 princes put their heads together, and then the jealousy started. They were not happy because this bird is so happy, jumping, everything, everybody is happy, and the other princes felt jealous. They were thinking put their head together, which means they thought together what to do, how to eliminate this, how to destroy this happiness. No, they went to September, sat down in a circle round her. So they went to September, made them to sit together, and nicely they are talking. What? Poor September, they said. We are sorry for the death of your beautiful parrot. Very nicely they are putting maska, no? We are sorry that you lost your parrot. It must be dreadful for you not to have pet bird as we have. It is difficult for you, no? Because we have the parrots and you don't have. So you feel, no? So we have put all our pocket money together and we are going to buy you a lovely green and yellow parrot. So they wanted to. What they wanted to do? They wanted to buy a parrot for her and eliminate the beautiful singing bird. That is their jealous, no? Thank you for nothing. Then the pretty princess said, September said, thank you for nothing, said September. I have a pet bird which sings the most charming songs to me, and I don't know what on earth I should do with the green and yellow parrot. She said, I'm happy with this beautiful bird who sings for me, and I don't want any more parrot. What I'm going to do with that? I am very happy with this bird. Well, my dear, they said, it's absurd to talk to your bird when the little fellow flies in and just likewise as he lies. They looked around the room and raised their paw. So they said, wow, we are not happy because your bird is always flying here and there, just going on, and it's not good. So do you mind our asking, where is your bird now? So they're asking, where is your bird now? They said, he has gone to pay a visit to her father-in-law, said the princess in September. Said, oh, my bird is just gone out to visit her father-in-law. So that is what the September said. And what makes you think he will come back? Then they are asking, will she come back? Will that bird come back? Asked the princess. He always does come, said the prince, September. She said, no, my bird will go and it will come. Always it comes. It never delays. Okay, it may delay, but it will not stop coming. It will come. Well, my dear, said the princess, if you will take our advice, you won't run any risk like that. Okay, you listen to our advice. What is their advice? To buy the parrot and leave the bird. It's not. If you then it is you need not to worry anything about it. If he comes back, and mind you, if he does, you will be lucky. Pop him into the cage and keep him there. That is the only way you can be sure of him. He said, okay, no problem. If he comes, you put him also in the cage so that he can be sure that he will not go away. That is what the advice of her sisters. That is the only way you can be sure of him. That means you put him in a cage. That is what they wanted to. But I like to have him fly about the room, said the young princess September. She said, no, I don't like him to be in the cage. I like him to fly in the room like that. Safety first, said the sisters ominously. They said together, safety first. You take care of it, otherwise it will fly away. They got up and walked out of the room, shaking their heads. and they left September very uneasy. So they said their advice and they went away. Okay, because they asked her to put the bird in a cage. This is the first part of the lesson. I want you to read it. Afterwards we do the comprehension. Is it clear, children? I know it is a very simple story. You all know maybe, and read it and understand. It is not only knowing, but you should be able to write the comprehension passage of it. Okay, see you in the next class. Thank you. Good afternoon.